So the first question is it never too late to follow the Buddhist faith? There is so much to learn, and I might not have enough time left. The Buddha's teaching is like the vastness of the sea, of the ocean. There's so much in the ocean. And if you want to know the ocean, I want to know the taste of the ocean. Do I have to drink up the whole ocean? No. I just use a cup, scoop a cup, and I drink it. Oh, I know the taste of the ocean. You don't need to drink up the whole ocean in order to know the taste of the ocean. You just scoop up a representative sample from the ocean, taste it, and know, oh, this is what it is. The same applies to Buddha's teaching. There's so much commentaries about the Buddhist teaching. The Buddhist teaching originated 2,600 years ago, and since 2,600 years ago, thousands and thousands of commentators, thousands and thousands of scholars, philosophers, they wrote so much about the Buddhist religion, the Buddhist teaching, and some wrote commentary on them. How can you finish reading them all? You cannot. So what do? You have to choose the one that is the most appropriate to you, that you can learn as fast as you can, that applies to you. It's just like when you want to look for something in Google, there's so much to come out. Do you have to look at every one of them? You just pick whatever you want to look at. And then you use your analysis to find out, oh, this is the one I want. So if you say, I'm always obsessed with I'm giving you an example. I'm always obsessed. I'm a young guy, and I'm always obsessed with two things. I'm giving you an example. I'm obsessed with sensuous pleasure. I like to have girlfriends. I like to have boyfriends. That's my first obsession. I can't get away without it. I can't live without it. The second obsession is I want to have wealth. I want to make a lot of money. If you're obsessed with that. So if I want to learn the Buddhist teaching, which section should I learn? Then you know that your problem is obsession with sensuous pleasure, on the one hand. On the other hand, obsession with wealth. Then you know that you have to practice the purification meditation. 不净观, 不净观. You have to practice Asvabhava Smriti in the Sanskrit language, or contemplation of impurity. Because every time when you think that, oh, that's beautiful, oh, that's handsome, that's what, because you have that kind of energy latent in your consciousness that whenever that comes up, what you think is beauty, quote and unquote, which is skin deep. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder anyway. What you think is beauty to another person may be ugly, but you attach to that, oh, it's beautiful, you know. So you have to purify your thought by practicing a meditation or contemplation that is called contemplation on impurity. Then you pick that and you study that. You study that and you practiced it. Buddhism is not about just study. It's theory and practice. It's like the wings of a bird. If that bird wants to fly, if it only has one wing, the theory, it cannot fly. It has to have the theory and the practice with both wings, then you can fly. So you need to not just know about it, not just have a conceptual understanding about it, you really have to physically walk on it. As I said, you want to go to Richmond? By looking at the map only, you can never get to Richmond. You have to start your engine, ignite your engine and start to drive and get to Richmond. You have to walk it, you have to drive it. So it's theory and practice together, and pick up the one that is appropriate to you. Because you said you haven't got that much time left, right? If you are the guy who is always obsessed with wealth and reputation, then you should contemplate on impermanence and the concept of egoness concept. Everything is impermanent. It does not matter how much wealth you have. One day you have to give it up. It does not matter how much wealth you have. One day you get old, one day you die, one day you get sick. You cannot bring your wealth with you. It does not matter how much you have. You cannot bring a deposit box with you. You cannot bring your Sonesy house, the house that you have. You cannot bring your Ferrari, your Rolls Royce. None of them you can bring with you. You cannot even bring your own body with you because you have to discard this body. Nothing you can bring with you. So why do you have to obsess with attaching to it? And in the process of attaching to it, you do a lot of misdeeds. You bribe, you're involved in bribery, you're involved in cheating, you're involved with drawing, fallacious contracts, you're involving with, I don't know. What are you involved in the business circle? What do you do when you're doing business with your partners? You're also involved with, I don't know, so much out in the world. There's so many vices. There's so many misdeeds that I can't even dream of. There are people who could be hiding in the hotel room and start shooting at thousands of people. Why did he do that? The karmic energy drove him to do that because he's insane. Because it's out of his mind. Why? Because there's a lot of karmic energy cover his real nature. His nature of humanity has been covered up, has been shrouded by all this hatred or jealousy or anger. You name them, I don't know. So, if you haven't got much time left, you can always pick and choose. When you go to a supermarket, what do? I only got myself half an hour and I want to cook right away. Do you loiter in the supermarket for 5 hours? You think about what do you want first. I want some tofu, I want some vegetables, I want some vinegar, and boom, I shoot out in 15 minutes. You don't loiter around the supermarket and shopping for which item, how much price, how much it costs. You know better than me in this. You've been under time pressure and you can do a good job. And you don't need to talk to me on that, right? You should teach me how to what do you call that? Efficiency. Are you efficient in what you're doing? What is efficiency? Efficiency is to consider, in certain appropriate circumstances, how you do that work in the best possible way. That's efficiency. I think that's what it is. All right. I don't have much time to answer this question, so that's it, right? Okay, next. Many thanks for the wonderful lectures. If one starts one's practice late in life, would he pick up the practice in his next life early at where he kept in his previous life? Of course. Whatever you have done in this life won't vanish. It would carry on to the next life, good or bad. You got to watch out. Every thought counts, not just the action. So you got to be very careful with your thought, not just with the behavior. What just the speech? What the speech and behavior comes from? Comes from the thought. So if you want to change yourself, to better yourself, to improve yourself, do you just improve your behavior? No. Improve your thought. So if one starts one's late in life, his practice in next life, yes, whatever you have stopped in this life, you'll pick it up in your next life. You know why? Because we have 8 consciousnesses in us, right? The first 5, the ear consciousness, the eyes consciousness, the ear consciousness, the nose consciousness, the tongue consciousness, the body consciousness, the thinking consciousness. That's out of 6. The 7th is the ego consciousness. The 8th is what? The banking consciousness. It's a storage consciousness. This storage consciousness will store everything in there when you died. This storage consciousness is invisible. When you die, all this energy that you have done, all this thought will store into that computer. We call it a disk drive. Okay, that disk drive, the memory won't go away. You did something wrong, the police didn't know, nobody knows, you think you can get away with it? No. It's already stored in your consciousness. You have done something good, it seems that nobody appreciated it, Really? It's already stored the good things in there. We call it the karmic energy already stored. So every action, every speech, every thought counts. Be very careful with it. And that's the reason why the Buddha said what? Originate. Do your practice from the thought, not from the behavior. Watch the thought. Okay, next question. 4 spiritual practices are essential: faith, energy. You got good memory. You still remember faith, energy, and the main components that lead to mindfulness, concentration. However, many people today have produced energies suffering from chronic tiredness, mental, physical. We increase our vital energy. Can we increase our vital energy in the first place? Of course you can increase your vital energy. Your energy is unlimited. It's just that kind of energy has been covered up by what? By our greediness for wealth, for reputation, for sensuous pleasures. It's been covered up. It's like we are like a mirror. We're like a grand mirror that's been covered up with dust and dirt for millions of lives. A mirror that's been covered up with dust and dirt. And now you have to wipe your mirror to let it shine. The dust and dirt are there, right, for many, many years. Not one lifetime is not enough, because you have been covering this mirror in thousands of reincarnations, thousands of a lifetime. So if in this lifetime you come to a realization, you start to wipe it. You start to clean it up. If in this lifetime you're doing bad things, you add more dust and dirt onto your mirror, that will cover up the mirror. Assuming you are very intelligent, very wise in this lifetime, you're trying to wipe out, but you cannot just wipe it in one lifetime. It takes a lot of time. But then, let me ask you, the mirror has been covered up with dust and dirt. Does the mirror lose its original reflectability? Is the reflectability still there even though it's covered with dust and dirt? Does it mean that it has no power to reflect? No, because that power is just covered up. Its reflectability is still inherent in there. It has never changed. It's just the dirt and dust's been changed. Your reflectability, your original self, purified nature is there. But you just start to clean it up. All right, and it's commonly accepted that many of our desires, craving, pain, sufferings, mental symptoms, etc., and to raise all the previous negative recording progress to nullify them. Sure, you can nullify them, but it takes practice. You can wipe away the dust and dirt, but it takes a lot of meditation. Not just one sitting of meditation, you can do it. You have to try. That's the reason why you won't be successful in just one Saturday morning. You do one meditation and you become a Buddha? No way. No. It takes many, many lifetimes. But it's the time to start. By starting it, immediately it will change your life. You don't think that I have been covered up by this dust and dirt. And if I start to clean this dust and dirt, I don't think I will be successful in this lifetime. So I'm going to give up because I can't do it. That's not the right concept. You know why? Because if you start to wipe this dust and dirt, you already have the conceptual understanding that this dust and dirt are no good. Then you won't add on to it in the first place. You won't add on to it because if you're wiping a mirror, would you at the same time spray dirt on it? You're stupid if you do that, right? You know that you shouldn't spray dirt on it. So you already have stopped all the bad things. And then you start to wipe it out. So it would be good. The Buddhist teaching would not just lead you to a good nirvanic place after you die. It would lead you now to happiness, to more openness, I use that word, I think I can use it correctly, to a sublimation of your sensuous desire. You sublimate your sensuous desires to a higher nirvanic level. You come to a sublimation of it. I don't know if I've... Okay, next. Dear Venerable, do we have today's slides from the talk on the temple website? Sure. Get onto the temple's website, www.buddhisttemple.ca. Buddhist Temple, one word, .ca. You have a lot of my lectures in there, including today's. A lot of information. You check the study of the 8 consciousnesses. Today, you have to say, oh, I want to have a copy of this slides, of this, PowerPoint. You get on there and you can we download it from there?
Not yet.
Not yet, yeah. Yeah, in the future, huh? In a few months, you may be even to download all this information from there. In a year from now, we may have even courses online that you can study the psychology of the Buddhist teaching. You can study many, many schools of the Buddhist teaching. Well, first of all, thank you indeed for the nourishing food, volunteers and donors. Could we get a hard copy of today's lecture on the 8 consciousness and 37 compass guide to enlightenment? During lecture, the word soul was mentioned. Does the soul exist according to the Buddha? That's worthwhile to give a short answer to. Soul, the word soul, if we want to use an analogy, a synonym, is it a synonym? Yeah, a synonym of soul, the light consciousness. That's the soul. The soul is tainted, is polluted. When you can transform the soul into purity, it's not called a soul anymore. What is it called? We can call it anything. If you call it, it's wrong. You don't attach a notion to truth. Language is limited. You don't attach a horn to the cow's horn. You don't need language anymore. Yes? Ego? Yeah, when the soul is mixed with the ego, when you're not enlightened, it is the ego. When you are not enlightened. When you are enlightened, the soul will transform into wisdom, and the wisdom will lead you to enlightenment. And what is enlightenment? Enlightenment is, you cannot describe it. You have to be there to know. If you have never to be Victoria Island, it does not matter how I describe it to you. You only get the language in your mind because you haven't been there. So it does not matter how good the Buddha explained nirvana to us. We only get the words. We never know the actual reality of it. The actual reality can only be, it's out of the ordinary comprehension. All right, next is, if there is no soul, what is it that's being reborn again and again? Yes, there's a soul. The soul is a polluted consciousness. And our polluted consciousness has been reincarnating life after life. When a person dies, his polluted consciousness would roll into the next life. As I said, through 6 ways. The top of the head, the eye, the bosom, the belly, the knees, and the soul, the bottom of the feet. Maybe, yeah?
What about spirit?
Spirits? Spirit is, it's a word. You mean ghost? I don't know.
Human spirit.
Human spirit?
The shortage of human spirit.
Human spirit is inconceivable, it's invisible. Yeah, there's spirit, yeah.
In us.
In us, yes, there's spirit, there's energy, there's spirit. People use different terms to explain different things.
A life force.
Your life force, of course you have a life force. If you don't have that spirit, if you don't have that life force, you're not classified as a human. You're classified as a material, as a stone. But even stone has a little bit of latent energy in it.